Well, welcome. No, that ain't what we do. We go like this.
It's going down like this, motherfucker.
That's right. It's going down like that. Where is. Oh, there it is. This is the Big Eagle Hour. Whoa, because it's daytime. The Chocolate Mountain Show is only at night. And this is obviously it's not night. You can see from this window over here and a lot of shade, and I let some light in. And I hope last night all you bask in the full moon energies, a lot of feminine energies giving and renewing. And so I hope those of you that are able to do that, were able to do that. I still have stones out getting this heat and getting this clarity. Because as I said many times, the energies run 4 days before and 4 days after. Oh, let me tell you, and it's nothing for me to not brag about my pickleball fitness, but I guess that's the first subject whenever you watch this is my pickleball fitness. And so it's a weird thing playing pickleball. It slows down at an hour and a half because I played, it says 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours playing pickleball. And I burned 1,800 calories. Got credit for standing for 20, standing for 11 hours worth of standing. 7,400 steps, 3.4 miles. I think I got my heartbeat up to, wow, really good. Let's see. 77 to 201. So I got my heart to work from 77 to 201. So at my age, it's got the wind and all that. And my resting heart rate appears to be about 54, it looks like. So you can do your thing. The backwood tray. Had this for a number of years. Love the art. Wow. Got all this neat stuff in here. All right. Need to clean this sucker. All this stuff is stuck together. All right. And so right now here in the Great White North, it is 89 degrees. And we have, let's see what the humidity is. 89 degrees, so it's peaked. Right now it's peaked. Well, another hour. Well, no, it's going to be 89 till 6. And we're dealing with, the air quality is not bad. The radar, I don't see any fires. Feels like it's 94, but we're at 54% humidity. 52% humidity. The dew point is 69. So not really high humidity, but feels like it's 94 outside. So for those of you in the northern states, you're probably, and I, from what I take it, Texas might be very similar as well. And so for whatever, take care. That's why I got to the pickleball court roughly 8:30-ish, maybe 8. I got there before 8:45, so I got there about 8:40. I immediately started playing. Wasn't a lot of people like normal. I think I didn't sit more than 10, 15 minutes. Every court wasn't full, and I got in 2 hours. I must have got in 11 games, maybe. I think I lost 3. Yeah, maybe something like that. Didn't lose many. Um, but this working out stuff is fun. It's really fun. It's really great. I've got to make a pickleball video for people, and it's like I mentioned, I think it's ways that you can really work out and get something out of it. Like we were asking, when is it going to become in schools? Like when is it going to be a high school sport, possibly a college sport? I would even dare say an Olympic sport. I mean, real estate now, it's going to be natural for these empty stores to turn into pickleball places. As I said before, my friend said down in San Diego that they had an outdoor facility, had 20 some courts, but they had to pay to play. Now, there's nowhere up here outside that you got to pay to play. There's nowhere. So that kind of blows my mind. Now, indoors, you got to pay to play at certain places. Well, most places you got to pay to play. Like where I'm getting married, I looked. We were up there yesterday with the wedding planner, and they play indoor pickleball there, and it would cost me $5. Lifetime, I think, is sometime could be up to $20 an hour. So and in pickleball, you can play hour. You can get a bunch of games in an hour, especially if it's just 4 people. So. Bishop Mac Bone. Oh, I can have some fun with you. But thank you for joining, Bishop Mac Bone. And I know you always control
my bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
And I know you definitely got
to have vision.
You do have to have vision. And for Mac Bone, you had hit me up with some stuff, and it wasn't that I wasn't considering it. I'm still considering it, and I'm still trying to. I got some dynamite people out here, but it's just convincing the people to give us some information. But I do have some people that been kind of getting with me that want to sit and discuss some things. So I think we're eventually taking this apart, and I can kind of switch the room around a little bit. So that's coming because I can interview people in here. I got plenty of space. But not just do that. I mean, I'm okay. And so to get people to tell their story, because it's a lot of different stories to be told and how they're doing it. Johnny, what's happening? Johnny Oggs, what's happening? And I know to be here with me, you definitely got to have
vision.
Because there's a lot of different stories to be told. And it's like even, I got a little inspiration from reading a story, and I guess I can kind of read it a little bit. And it's just like everyone listening, it's like, how is things working out for you? Like if you have any magic abilities, if you have any abilities, how's that working out for you? I mean, it's hard work working out for you. Because that's what they tell you on the American Dream, that if you work hard, you'll get the benefits of working hard. And I can say from my own experience, I watch people work hard, and I watch the work break them down in some cases. Then I've watched other people, use their mind and their brains and their charm and personality and work forever. Like to work. Slow down if they didn't work. They prefer to keep that busyness. And the witch has been sending me stuff, so I'll use her work. I mean, how many out there are really getting paid for being you? And not what you can do for somebody else. And it's just not monetary. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can get paid for just being you. And how many out there use this instead of benefiting your work and your research benefiting others? I mean, because I guess if we want to philosophize, since we are coming out of a full moon, we want to philosophize for a few minutes, and it's one thing that you have to definitely we all can consider is, of all the paths we've seen that have fallen before us and all the examples, I mean, there's no one example that if you follow that, that'll make you perfection. Because the bliss comes from, I mean, bliss is a type of perfection. But what would it take for you to find that? Because you have to find that while you're alive. You have to find your own bliss, your own perfection while you are alive. That's what the here and now is for. That's for. I mean, that's what the brother wrote the book, said, be here now. And while you're in the now, how are you benefiting from being in the now? I mean, how has it turned any, I'll say, bad habits into good habits? Because that's what, the work on yourself is to again, perfection for yourself. Whatever the perfect self you are. And, you definitely, everyone's perfectly imperfect. But near as you could be. And I would say for most people, there's no real gauge. Because I think that's the mistake, is trying to gauge yourself by something else. You take all the information and you use the information to put together your alchemy. Like, everybody doesn't cook the same way. You take the recipe and put your part on it for it to help you do the work that needs to be done for you. And so I plan on in the future trying to get others to see if they want to, but I don't mind even just bringing it myself. Now that looks like a lot of yuck. All right. I don't know what's in this glass. Well, maybe it's, ooh. I don't even know if I can show this shit. I forgot I charged these crystals, so it's pushing this shit right out. I charged these last night and it's pushing this shit right out. Wow, I'm not gonna drink that shit. I've luckily got the bottle. Because whatever's in that shit, it don't look like it's worth drinking. So, same kind of stuff going on in America. It's always debauchery. I don't think there were any protests or anything from the young man getting killed in the car, which I think in a lot of ways he kind of deserved. It's like I am worthless. I might run this just because it sounds kind of funny. But this sounds funny, like a funny story. But I'm just going to read it. It says, I am worthless. It says, troubleshooters investigate patient dumping allegations. So are they dumping patients? Let's see what they say about it.
On our streets, triggering calls to the wave troubleshooters alleging patient dumping by local hospitals. Two different $2 million plus patient dumping jury verdicts recently in Kentucky caught our eye. But what really got our attention was where calls to our newsroom led us when we began following up on the complaints. This story begins December 1st at 5 p.m. with a phone call to our newsroom from a horrified University Hospital employee claiming security had just wheeled a woman all the way out to the corner of Hancock and Ali, just off hospital property.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Okay. Are we supposed to believe she's been
property, dumped the elderly woman out of the wheelchair on the sidewalk, and left. Minutes later, we shot video of her, still in a soiled hospital gown and slippers, breathing hard under a blanket placed over her in 36-degree weather, her stuff in a bag next to her. The employee claimed she sees this a lot. So I started watching, and on December 16th at 7 p.m., 35 degrees outside, I record 3 security guards surrounding an elderly woman with a walker, slowly escorting her out of the emergency room. She can't move fast. It takes several minutes to make it all the way to the same corner of Hancock and Ali. After they have her across the street, off the hospital property, the security guards turn around and go back. When they clear, I catch up to her, and she says she can't breathe.
They told me that I couldn't stay on the premises.
I thought Mom's Mabley was dead, but I guess Mom's Mabley is still going on.
Were you in there as a patient?
Well, I needed to be a patient because I'm sick.
What's wrong with you?
I've got COPD. I got diabetes.
So they wouldn't even treat you?
The doctor talked to me for 1 minute
And they told you what?
that I had to leave.
What reason did he give you?
He didn't give me a reason.
She tells me she's homeless.
I've got to go because I'm hurting. I'm in pain.
I was in a car crash, and it completely shattered my hip and pelvis. Right here, I got like 30-something screwed.
Matthew Hauber and his mother claim a similar story. They met us in front of Wayside Mission in the spot where they say he was dumped in October.
Anywhere. And they said, well, we can't find a rehab right now.
Linda Hauber said when Norton Hospital told her they had a room lined up for Matthew at Wayside, she checked it out.
I called Wayside Christian Mission and just to confirm, and they said no. They said we can't do that. We can't. You know, they have beds and they help them find jobs and stuff, but we don't take medically needy people. We don't do that. And
Then she says she had a conference call with the hospital staff.
the social worker said, we're going to take him to a shelter. And I said, which one? And they said, Wayside Christian Mission. And I said, well, I know that's not true because I called them and they don't take him. And then the lady said, the social worker said, well, that's history. Let's think of something else.
Hauber says the next day, her son was unloaded from a transport vehicle on the curb in the rain on Jackson Street in front of Wayside.
I thought they've dumped my garbage. I have to put out to the curb. That's how they dumped my son, like garbage.
Linda Hauber said she was in no
dumped him
shape
like
to care for
garbage.
him at home, and she died after this interview.
They put all
Damn.
their stuff on the sidewalk over there. They dump them off over here on the sidewalk and get back in that vehicle and get out here just as fast as they can.
Wayside staffer Perry Lane helped Matthew out of the rain and says he witnesses the same kind of thing dozens of times per year from hospitals as far away as Eastern Kentucky. He says they're often lied to about the medical treatment they'll receive at the shelter.
What's the worst physical shape you've seen somebody in who was dumped? This guy here was pretty bad.
Paralyzed. People that can't walk. That are totally relied on a wheelchair. Take them out, put them in the wheelchair, throw all their stuff on the and take off.
Wayside's Chief Operating Officer Nina Mosley tells me it's not uncommon. She says they're not trained medically, and sometimes they take patients right back to the hospitals.
How can you dump people? These are human beings. How can you just dump them and leave them? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's unhuman, man.
We detailed these incidents with dates and times to both Norton and University hospitals. Norton Healthcare Senior Vice President Renee Murphy responded in an email that says, in order to safeguard the privacy of patients and in compliance with HIPAA, we are not permitted to discuss specifics regarding a patient's case. There are several details to this case that may not have been communicated to you by the family. As Mr. Hauber has not signed a HIPAA release of information form, we will not be able to share those details with you.
Okay, y'all get the point of this shit. It's like, it reminds me of the movie The Super. You know, pay me, pay me or get out. It's like The Super. And I saw Lorenzo in here. Thank you for coming, Lorenzo. And even though it's afternoon, you still got to have
vision.
And Miss Carrie D, thank you for coming to see me. And I know all that you see and do, you definitely got
to have vision.
Dumb jobs are common. Hospitals and nursing facilities do it all the time. Wow. Wow. And I say that is the curse of getting, physically unable and old. That is the curse of it, is that, if you have to be taken care of, there's a good chance that you might not be taken care of. And so, yeah, that's the chance we take of getting old. Yeah, we already saw the trooper involved shooting. This is what we had. Oh, let me see if I can catch. Oh, here's going. Yeah, this is now if I can catch the other one. But,
Well, today is August 1st. Is the day.
This is part of what they're putting here, and I hope this should affect a lot of people in your area. But here, this is part of the new
laws go into effect across Minnesota. One of them makes marijuana legal, and for tens of thousands of Minnesotans, it also marks a fresh start, with minor cannabis-related offenses being removed from criminal records. Kaya Edwards explains how the expungement process works. Kaya?
Julie, broadly speaking here, low-level cannabis offenses are beginning to be expunged from records, while more serious convictions will be reviewed case by case. Now that it's August 1st, Minnesotans with minor marijuana-related arrests or even misdemeanor convictions are in line to have their records sealed from public view. That's because the Adult Use Cannabis Act, now in effect, automatically expunges such records from the state's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension database. The BCA says more than 66,000 Minnesotans could benefit, but warns it could take a year to get to everyone. For Minnesotans with felony convictions, the state has created the Cannabis Expungement Board to determine eligibility for expungement or resentencing. The BCA says 230,000 felony records are eligible for review. The state says the intention is to remove barriers for people seeking jobs or housing. Historically, research shows racial disparities in arrests and convictions for marijuana possession in Minnesota and nationwide. This year, the legislature also passed the Clean Slate Act. It expands the current list of offenses that are eligible to petition for an expungement order. This doesn't go into effect until January.
Whoa, she's cute. She must be new. Okay, I don't mind your outfit. I like your hair. It looks kind of laid. Okay, you're stiff. I like it. So,
City Hall.
why is City Hall calling me? Give me a second. Children's. There is one more. There. Let me see. They must not didn't cover it. Let me see. They didn't cover this story, but I caught another weed story. And it must not be under them. Must be under the other local station. Let's see if it was this one. Yes, it is this one.
There's no fucking license.
There's not a.
Now, this is, it's legal. It is legal here, but the cities are trying to fight back. The cities aren't prepared, and the cities are trained, and they're trying to show propaganda. And this is what one place did.
Can you call? I'm going to call back and ask them what they're saying. They need to give these people on call.
All right, we're just going to seize the plants. We're going to bring them to the station per the chief's orders, and you're going to have to talk to him.
Okay, he just said he's going to seize all the plants. There's no law that gives him the power to seize them. Now, what he could do is, how are you going to get taxed? Because weed, you still have to pay everything in cash. But what legal authority does he have to take? These plants aren't illegal. But again, it's Gestapo tactics, propaganda, trying to scare people and discourage people.
Do you have a
If you
good
say so.
order for,
If you say so.
Marijuana law?
We want people to make money. It's not. We're not here to
I need their
rip
phone.
on
If
your
you can give me the
business
phone number
because
like
we got
now, that would be like
complaints.
way
Someone selling THC, we're not selling.
Put me in the right direction. I have somebody coming down.
No,
and, like, stealing
no, you
something.
don't. Really?
Understand?
Go in there and ask them for their license to sell hemp.
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you go to the other smoke shop and ask them why they're still selling bongs?
Yeah, they're selling glass and everything already.
But they want to complain
There is no.
because
You don't need a license to sell hemp. I told him go in there and ask them for their license to sell hemp. He's going to go in there and ask. There is no fucking license.
There's not a
Because you don't need
a
one.
tobacco license.
Fuck.
And the 2018 Farm Bill Act is a federal law. If these plans are dead, that's on you
So,
guys.
ma'am, I just want to be very clear with you. We are following our chief's orders, okay? So if our chief is saying that they have to get seized, our hands are tied. We're just following what our boss wants, okay? We're not saying that they're going to get destroyed. We're not saying that
But they are.
But wonder again, under what law? They're not doing anything illegal. They are just selling the plants. You can give away, you can sell the seeds. But again, they're overreaching. They're overreaching because they weren't prepared. They're still not prepared. They still have the old way of thinking.
But they are going to be destroyed. Do you not understand that?
They're not going to be properly lighted. They're not
Cared for?
watered. There's going to be issues. The bugs are going to start.
I mean, that's fine because you're just following orders.
I'm just doing what our boss
Right.
Okay.
Yep, look at these fine gentlemen stealing these plants that people have already paid for.
Okay, one of them will probably get involved. Not even 24 hours into the new bill, you guys are already starting. This is ridiculous. Great joy.
Hey, how about you test the plant, and if it tests positive for THC, then you can take them.
Testing, don't you?
Right?
You gotta test other drugs right on the spot. Can you do that?
Yeah,
because
we
that
pay
would be nice.
taxes, guys.
Oh, sorry. Calling for backup.
Nope, we're not.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, don't you guys work for us, though?
As much room for us.
Aren't you the public servants?
Yeah.
You guys should test them, for real. Just live here, we'll take care of them, no worries. That's what I'm saying.
They have no job unless we pay for them. Unless a law is broken.
We're gonna kill them all like
I know. But good thing only half showed up.
Yeah, this is very, very unlawful. This is very, very unlawful. Under the current law, it's allowed for you to buy plants statewide. But again, we see the Gestapo police tactics bucking back at the lawful people because they to try to understand their still mentality is they have criminalized this through the war on drugs. They have made marijuana just as illegal as heroin and cocaine until now. And so the old way of thinking still wants to punish people. And so that's what you see. They still want to punish people. And this is what this video shows, is they're punishing people still because they don't know any other way. This is the only way they can punish people.
Let's get out of here. Jesus Christ.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's okay. I talked to one of the kids out by my place, and the guy talked smugly and talked down to me.
Oh. So, but it's all gonna change. They're gonna work it out. Damn, do we want to see the body camera footage again? Because they're still pumping this out. What is this, the latest? I showed this the other day. Is this? No, this is what I showed the other day about the body cam footage that we broke down. It showed the young man shouldn't have taken off. Oh, and tomorrow night, we do have the Hall of Fame game. So tomorrow night is the Hall of Fame game. So, and, what? And the TBT games, the money league games, I'm pretty sure are still going on, which I love. Money tournaments, you know, I've talked about this many times. Money league tournaments has been going on in a long, long time. And it's good that the last 5 or 6 years, this is getting televised. But what's funny is, I think it's 12 people involved and all the people have to get, can you imagine getting $60,000, $70,000 and they're putting it on a Zelle card or Zelle. I mean, that's just, that is, to me, I guess if you could transfer it into crypto money, but to put it on that card, it's not really like money. Not really. So that's my only down about it. But there was no protest over the shooting. It does not seem like. Here we go. Here goes another story about marijuana. Here we go. Check this one out. Oh, here's another story. All right, here we go. Another story about marijuana.
The legalization of marijuana is prompting some big changes at law enforcement agencies across the state.
Fox 9's Mary McGuire takes us to Rochester and shares why legal weed is forcing some drug-sniffing canines into retirement.
These canine officers aren't just skilled, highly trained animals. Their noses are a vital component of the work the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office does every day.
They're an invaluable tool.
For nearly a decade, Canine Django and Canine Cobra have helped their law enforcement partners by sniffing out illegal drugs, mainly during traffic stops. But now marijuana legalization is speeding up their retirement.
We can't untrain them from smelling marijuana.
The German Shepherd and Belgian Malinois are the only two canines left in the department with the ability to detect pot on top of other drugs, like cocaine and ecstasy. Legalization means they can't sniff for drugs anymore and will instead be on patrol duty for the rest of their careers.
They're not doing narcotic searches because we can't train the dog to differentiate between marijuana and meth, for example.
Olmsted County started phasing out teaching their dogs to detect weed in 2019. Now teaching their dogs to detect,
for example.
Olmsted County
and meth, for example. And meth, for example. And meth, for example.
Olmsted County started phasing out teaching their dogs to detect weed in 2019, anticipating it would someday be legal in Minnesota. Django and Cobra were already nearing the end of their working careers, so come August 1st, easing them into retirement was a logical step.
To kind of make things easier as far as the transition into this new world of marijuana legalization, it just helps us bring a new dog in that's not trained in marijuana to be used to its fullest capacity.
The department hopes to have a new canine on the force by this fall and another by next spring.
That's a good boy.
There's no set date as for when the canines will officially retire.
So once the dog learns marijuana, he can't unlearn it. He can't go and say, well, you know, there's weed here. He'd be like, weed, and they'd be like, weed is okay. Weed is okay. And you can't untrain the dog to know weed. That is interesting. That is very interesting. So, yes, the football games tomorrow, TBD tournament. I think what do they call it? The slam ball, the trampoline basketball, which I find very entertaining too. I like the part where you can be on the hard court and just nail somebody. I like that part. Oh, who saw on Netflix, they got the Italian game. I got to learn how to spell it. Calico? Did anybody see that? Where they got an Italian game where these dudes, they play with a ball and you got a line of dudes. And I wish I could learn, remember. Well, I might be able to find it on my phone. But, your first line of defense is dudes bare knuckling it with other dudes. That was the coolest shit. It's like everybody up front just fight. Like bare knuckle fight, and then if the back can, the ball carrier can get through where you done knock down enough of the people, you can go try to score. Kind of like a roller ball, but you're not rolling, you just run it. But they was just straight up fighting. And then they tap out. One dude said he separated his shoulder and shit, so like once you knock somebody down, until they score, they can't get up. That was interesting. Let me see if I can find it on the phone. So did anybody check that out? Yeah, let me see if I can find it on my resume watcher. Because that was crazy. It's Calico, something like that. Where is... I had to look it up. I watched this a while ago. I watched this early last week. Where is... Nah, it might have been on Netflix. It ain't on YouTube TV. It's not on YouTube TV, Netflix. And I don't know where I quite had a Netflix. So I have to look that up, but that was so interesting. And it's on, I think, Netflix, though. It shows different sports in the country. It shows like, in Ireland where they literally just pick up a tree and to see who can. So you have a telephone pole basically, and you want your telephone pole. You got to walk your telephone pole so many feet. And you got to flip it. And when you flip it, it has to be closest to 12 o'clock. So I don't know how you would invent a sport like that where, they're sitting there like, you know what? I could walk this half a tree like a couple feet, and when I flip it, it'll be more like 12 o'clock. I don't know how that catches on. I mean, enough dudes cut down enough trees and didn't have nothing to do, so they all flipping the trees. How does a sport like that come? Like, how does these mugs... Now, I'll tell you... Them lifting them big boulders and they was forced to do that. They was forced to do that by the English. They're like, yeah, I don't care if you're hungry. I don't care if you're lazy. You take that big boulder and put it up there. That's how they learned how to move them big boulders. They was forced to by the English. Hey, Jamar, what is happening? Thank you for joining me. And I know it's not normally...
Got to have vision.
And I had to come, and I'm not going to come on fairly long today because it's a nice day, and I've got to start cooking. I'm going to start cooking in about an hour. Yeah, I'm going to let it cool down a little bit because I'm going to grill some steaks outside, baby. And I'm going to let it get a little cooler. I've got some fresh greens, fresh salad. And so, yeah, it's just I'm not probably going to want to. I'm gonna go to bed early. I'm going to bed noon, midnight, 12:31 at the latest, and I'm up at 7:30, so I can go out and be my pickleball best. And if my old lady wants to walk, whatever, she wants to go for a walk tomorrow. Yeah, and we're probably gonna swim. So get a good workout. My daughter didn't want to swim today. I wanted to swim just because it takes out inflammation too. But I had a good workout. But I do want to make a video. I've got to set up the equipment, see how well it'll record. Ooh, I'm making a seafood pasta right now. Whoa, that sounds outstanding. We had what do they call it? Alfredo. I bought some Alfredo. Sam's Club, or not Sam's Club, the other place. They make a type of, or Sam's Club might make it too, but they make a type of what was it? Type of pasta. Old man, and fettuccine. Fettuccine. They make a type of fettuccine, and we made it. We brought a big dish to the fights last Saturday. And the final thing I want to say about the fights was that was one of the best nights of entertainment I've had in a long time. Last Saturday fights, I mean, we went over my brother-in-law at 5. There was fights going on up until the main fights came on at 9 and 10. And there was like fight after fight after fight. I mean, it was really well put together for 2 different events trying to get the attention of the American audience and some of the world audience. And I think they did an excellent job. The timing between each fight, it was really good sports producing. Good sports producing. When we talk about, again, it's all a script, but they produced it well. And we have to recognize it was a fun night of watching UFC and watching boxing. As I was saying, like all week, after the fight, all this week, you seeing boxing all over Facebook. You're seeing boxing being re-highlighted because of it got the juice from that fight. So again, it's fake and real at the same time. And that's, I think, one thing we ask is give us good entertainment. And no matter who you rooted for, it was a night of good entertainment. That big brother that jumped through the air to hit that dude with that knee, that Guthrie dude that did that side leg upside the head. I mean, this was great night of seeing some niggas get their ass whooped. So, and then we got, the NFL's really starting tomorrow night. We're going to see how and the interesting thing about the preseason game, even though you don't know the people, it's still good to support because these are people that are getting a chance and even if the dudes get cut now, getting on film is what you want. You want enough reps to be on film where, you can, okay, you don't like me here, there's enough film, I can go to another place. And that's the goal. And it's, definitely the opportunity as well. Golly. Where is this at? So yeah, we hope that the baseball script becomes as good. I mean, it was interesting with the Tampa Bay game last night. Was it Tampa Bay and the Yankees? I mean, for a minute there, they in the ninth, the bottom of the ninth. Yeah, they act like they was gonna let the Yankees come back. It was what 5-4. They end up getting them out. It was like you could see where whatever the over and under was, they got rid of that because it ended up being, it went from 5-0 to 5-1. So over and under again, if you had 7, you was feeling pretty good. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. And if you had the over and under of 7, you was feeling pretty good. Then all of a sudden they let the Yankees score 3 runs overthrow. I mean, it was just like in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, they overthrew and let the Yankees score 3 runs. And then they end up getting them out. So do you see how they scripted that? And, you know, the politics is so ridiculous. It's repeat of every stories. You know, it's like it's not even new anymore. It's a repeat. And it's a division that ain't even real of people that the senators have way too much power. In some ways, the Senate has more power than president in some ways. But again, if the senators want ultimate power, all the senators run for president. People forget Obama was a junior senator, which really didn't have much power coming into it. Just shows you they can make anybody. Oh, how did that happen? Okay. So they can make anybody. They want to make you. I must say, this Sugarite, I've just powered this Sugarite up, and whatever was in this water, it didn't go to the bottom. Wow. I powered these rocks up, and oh my goodness, whatever was in here, it just ate that shit up. That is quite interesting. It ate it up. Yeah, this is just, wow. Raw copper. I've had these 6-7 years. Always getting zinc off them. But you know, it's debauchery everywhere. And we see the old system wanting to fight the new system. And we see, you know, people not wanting to accept change. And why change? You know, also the versions. Oh, El Dragon, Amaru Khan, what's happening? Thank you for supporting the afternoon show, the Big Eagle Hour.
You got to have vision.
And I know you do. Thank you for supporting the Big Eagle Hour, and that's what it is. It's an hour. Guess it's not as much a show. Wow. Man, look at the quartz in this pink granite. Look at all that quartz. Making faces and shit. I think this came from just my filler rock. I just sit there looking at these pieces of quartz that are actually it's turned the quartz pink. Like if you look at that, you can see where the quartz actually is pink from the quartz turning the granite into quartz. It's kind of stayed pink. So that's interesting. All the rocks are interesting to me. I'm a rock junkie if you didn't know. And I don't think, you know, working with rocks, working with different things is outside of yourself. I think any inspiration comes from outside of yourself. I mean, it's taking the inspiration and woven it into your personality and what your abilities are. Because it still comes from you. I mean, whatever you use to work with still comes from you. Now, I guess if you're like they did Jesus and say, you know, you got the rock, and they be like, perform a miracle with the rock right now. And, you know, you just close your eyes and be like, oh, ooh, ooh. Well, you ain't showing them anything. So it's never like that. It's so much a more personal thing with each and every one of us. It's never anything we can really put on public. You know, spirituality is, I mean, healing is. Now, I'll say that. I mean, those that can heal, and there's so many ways to heal. I think something Sly said the other day was, you know, all the people that had trauma and all the people that had trauma and aren't getting any help with the trauma. I mean, that becomes a big problem as well. Because people live with something that it showed that if it's less a burden on your soul or on your system, it's like eating something and burning it off. You breathe it out. But if you're letting something internally eat at you without any kind of resolve of forgiving if you have had some kind of trauma, and then the healing process with the trauma, because it's both. And I think too often people keep being harmed about something, and at some point you have to turn it around and say, well, okay, I've been harmed by this enough. Now I need to turn it around. I need to heal from this. Because even the worst moment was just a moment. It's like I showed the video of the brother driving away, and it's easy to say. It's easy to say, and it's easy to really see a person is in his right mind. You ain't just gonna take off with 2 cops in your doors. And that's a moment you can't come back from. Because obviously he was on something. And, you know, as Richard Pryor would say, when it comes to moments, you want to be on that long line of moments. You know, not the line to get hit by a bus. to die, to the line to die through pleasure instead of dying being hit by the bus. And so, you know, and forgive yourself. I mean, however you need to seal away the person that harmed you, however you need to concrete that wall and put that away, however you do that you have to do that as well. It's not really, you don't have to really forgive them. You can put that in a neutral place. I mean, some say you should, but you don't have to. You still hold, you know, that whatever it was fucked up. But you need to be over here in a deep shelf. So you don't necessarily have to forgive. A lot of people say yes or no. You don't. You don't have to forgive. And so many people say, well, you know, I forgive, but I remember. Well, you know, you don't really forgive. But you have to put it in its proper place, is my point. However you solve it, put it in its proper place. And it's something I'll speak a little bit about too, is anxiety is really, it's an interesting phenomenon. You know, I even myself, for my breathing problems, it has caused panic attacks in me before. And it's just an anxiety-driven thing. And what happens too often and not is, you know, adrenaline is dumped some kind of way. Like people that say they take an edible and it's too strong, adrenaline keeps dumping. And so some people, they don't like that quick rush of adrenaline. Well, some people get that kind of a negative adrenaline rush just in society or in some kind of situation. And this is, you know, this is fairly common, you know, social anxiety. Perfect example. I used to go to a lot of basketball games. All the brothers and sisters at Western Michigan University sat in one spot. I was always too scared to walk in front of that spot. And I guess you could say, or even go sit over there. My cousin would sit over there and stuff and friends, but I wouldn't go sit over there. And I think that probably was a little bit of social anxiety. I didn't think I had enough confidence. I didn't think I was cool enough. But just the idea of going to sit there as a elementary school, I think gave me, and it wasn't, it's brothers and sisters there, but I just felt that I hadn't earned the right, or I wasn't cool enough to sit amongst. It just makes me think of another story where uh, I went to see my cousin play at a junior. I had a cousin that was a year older than me. So he was playing at the local junior college. Couple cats, year older. So we're at the game. And this is at a junior college. And so I'm sitting there, and this pregnant woman walks past me and speaks and calls me by name. And I'm sitting with some of my friends, and Linda walks past me. It's like, "Hey, hi, Toby. How you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, good to see you." And I didn't know who she was at the time. And the other lady spoke to me too. So all these grown ass women walk to me. All three of them speak to me. But Linda, who's pregnant, speaks to me first. Then the other two speak to me too. And then, my boys, when they get away from me, my boys is like, "Did you get her pregnant?" And at the time, I really didn't recognize who she was. I hadn't. I'll say this. I was in fourth grade with her brother. So I knew her brother. But I didn't know, she was pregnant by my cousin at the time. I really didn't know it. And maybe I did and didn't know her enough, but I really didn't know that she was pregnant by my cousin. But it was funny, all my friends teased me. He was like, "Damn, how you know that grown woman is you pregnant? You make her?" Because I was only like maybe a junior or a sophomore. I had to be a junior. Maybe even a senior, because Mark was playing for KCC. But that made me think of that story. I stopped leaving I stopped having night terrors. I started keeping crystals on my nightstand. I even travel with them. Oh yeah, me too. Me too. Right, it looked like we weren't gonna be going to the powwow in a couple weeks because they just had the Rib Fest, and we ain't go to the Rib Fest out at the casino. I go to the casino every day. I mean, I don't gamble, but that's where I play pickleball. I play pickleball on the reservation every day. But anyway, they're having the big powwow. They're having the big powwow 17, 18. So in 2 weeks. So I won't make the mistake of trying to go live out there because the internet on the reservation is trash. That's one thing I'll say. Internet out there is trash. It's trash out there. The phones don't quite work the best, and the internet is trash. So I'm gonna just record, and then I'll download what I record. But I take my crystals out there. They have a circle. It's interesting how this is kept the same. If you really know, it's a ball field. I showed it last year where they go around the circle. It's a ball field. They put stands around it like it's a ball field. And when they want to move that energy, they're moving the energy around the ball field. So wherever if you don't think these traditions that started in South America didn't come up through the Americas and are still used, they're still used and still practiced. And so I take my crystals out there too. I want to put them in that circle because it's like it's as I've said before. My other crystal's been outside the last couple of days or in sunlight, but you can take a pendulum and you can really find where the strongest ley lines in your given area are. You can find the strongest energy that you live around. Everyone lives around strong energy, positive energy that is the best place for you to meditate. As I've said many times, like Carrie was talking about the night terrors again. What I recommend anybody is what will get rid of them is because dark only hides in the corners. Doesn't have many other places to hide. And you put these apophyllite crystals, and I'm gonna see if I can get some more of these, and I'll send them to folks. But you put these in all four corners, or you went in all four corners, and I said before, I put that, and I put kyanite with them. And kyanite, just in the growth of the way the kyanite is made, and even though they're both they're you know, the pieces are just singular small pieces, just the way this grows, because this is the only crystal that really grows within itself and away from itself. It's not like the way this quartz grows. Whoops. If you see, this grows every way and it grows away from itself. And this is a stone of rejuvenation, and more than that, but a very protective stone in the black kyanite form. And so together, this takes care of that kind of thing. But just to, like, if you want to know where to meditate, you can just take something like this around. Divining rods, you know, it don't take much. You can make some divining rods out of hangers. I got to get a pair, but these, I was like outside with this last night. Oh my goodness, I was fighting so much because I was waiting for the moon to come in my backyard where all my crystals are. And it's like, took forever for the moon to clear my building. So that's kind of, you know, if you want to find a quiet space in your own, you know, your own temple, because that's what your home becomes. It becomes your temple. It's like with our children and our relatives, we put, you know, you have love me walls, but we also, you know, we have the walls of the people we cherish. That's what we do with our children. You know, walls of people we cherish, you know. And so that's pretty common. And as I've said before, you know, what's around you should work for you. All the colors, like even clothes you buy, everything should, you know, amplify who you are and what you're about. I put selenite, rose quartz, lamps, and Himalayan salt lamps in the corners of my house. It helps. Oh, definitely. And you can put selenite in the windows too. I didn't mention that. I got selenite in all my windows. I still got to get that big piece cut. But yeah, I put selenite in all my windows. So that works pretty good as well. But that works. Salt lamps, you know, I got I'll tell you what amplifies salt lamps is you put shungite with the salt lamps. It amplifies the salt lamps because it does the same things that the salt lamps do, but they give them a boost. And you know, you should have like a piece. You should have a piece of shungite near your Wi-Fi stuff too, to kind of filter some of that. Don't make it make your, I think Forerunner showed, you know, did some tests where he saw that it actually slowed his internet down. So you don't want it that, but you do want a little bit of protection. Yeah, and then I have a cube over here to kind of ground me because this is where I do most of my meditation. And the cube kind of helps ground. Shungite comes from under the ground. I mean, they dig it up actually out of rivers. So, yeah, negative energies. Yeah, negative energies. And that's why I tell you, that's why I love these. I mean, this stirs negative energies because negative energies are almost like smells. You know, I mean, it's really like when things smell. That's how negative energy can be. It just can kind of linger. And so if you have something as simple as a bowl, you know, I have bowls, you know, bells. These is really easy to get. You know, just symbols. I mean, just to move energies. Like when you meditate, you want, I mean, like when some people meditate and they say nothing happens or they can't really get anything moving, it's because you haven't made anything move. You haven't made anything around you move. Like do one of my videos where I play the music in the beginning or the sounds. And you can like play those sounds out aloud. Again, I have no cast with them at all. It's just simply, you know, me giving that. And it'll get the, you know, if you put it loud in a room, just those sounds I play this like 7-8 minutes, it'll stir, you know, the energy moving. And so salt lamps and some of these crystals can start working better. Well, what, have I gone an hour? Oh, I've gone an hour. Good. My daughter says she's hungry. So I am going to have to cook dinner. And I think that's fair. So I only had a short time. But yeah, keep that, some of these things I said. Thank you for helping me build up this afternoon audience. I appreciate everyone for coming and listening to me in the afternoons, because I'm going to have to transition kind of to the afternoons. I know Sunday nights I'm still going to have, when football seasons, I'm going to do breakdowns, Sunday night games. So that's definitely coming in my future. But and that the weather will be starting changing, so I won't be playing pickleball in the morning. So thank you. I have a wind chime on the back patio. Yeah, you should. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Push Sugarite near the salt lamps and it amplifies them. Yeah, absolutely. Sugarite amplifies the salt lamps. Yeah, it makes them stronger and makes them do, what they really are supposed to do. But yeah, Sugarite will amplify them. It doesn't even matter, even little pieces. If you got just a little piece, put it near the salt lamps and it really amplify what they do. I mean, for like example, this size stone actually gives you roughly, and this is not the egg, this is the next. This roughly gives you about 10 feet of protection. And so if you think, a small piece, and my small pieces are in here. So your small piece, and you think, most salt lamps cover a pretty good area. You add that little bit of Sugarite, it's going to give you more feet of protection. Like this salt lamp here, it's daytime, I still got it on. And I have one on downstairs too. So, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, but wind chimes are, now, I've said this before, I said, anytime you walk out of like, especially a hospital, where you work, a store, you should really hesitate before you go out. And then once you go out, you should hesitate too. Wind chimes keep energy moving, especially negative energy moving away from you. And that's the cool thing about chimes. You put it near a doorway and it's always kind of pushing negative energy away by nature. And so that's the cool one. My chimes, my girl doesn't like them. My chimes, my son has mine. So, well, thank you. Look for me probably again tomorrow afternoonish. Yeah, because if we swim, it'll be later in the day. So, thank you for coming to the Big Eagle Hour. Hope I gave a little suggestions that people can use. Till we meet again, we are definitely move this picture. Oh, look how cute my son was. Cute. Look at him. Look at the hat. Look how stiff he is. Oh, look at him. Look at that joker. So cute.